And on this Reaction Monday, appreciate Nick Kelly already joining the show. We've already heard from a lot of you at 1-800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450. That is the Courtesy GMC text line. They're already starting kind of a procession down at Auburn as Alex Golesh is officially going to be announced in about 1 hour from now, and you will hear those comments right here on Jocks.
Well, let me tell you about Big Whiskey's because they are the place for great food of all varieties. They have a full menu ranging from apps, salads, burgers to steaks. It's also conference championship weekend, and they have plenty of screens that you can catch all the games all weekend long. Friday night and Saturday, the kitchen is open late. Plus, with school back in and the holidays, you have a lot going on. Let Big Whiskey's do the work. They offer online ordering and curbside pickup for those busy evenings. So go see them in the Stadium Trace Village off 459 at Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
So Alabama continues their hope of making the college football playoff by defeating Auburn 27-20. Major shout out to Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover. He predicted precisely the score. He said Alabama would win 27-20.
He was one of our prize packs.
That's right. He gets a free CD, a Celine Dion CD.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. A Backstreet Boys poster.
Yes. And an NSYNC backpack.
And a gift certificate to Turtles.
Yes. Love me some Turtles. Do you used to keep up with the little turtle things for your awards every time you back us?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't that involved.
Yeah. You just made me lose my train of thought. Started talking about Turtles.
Lane Train.
Yeah. Alex Golesh.
Yes.
Noon. We'll carry that live here. He's 41 years old. He was born in Moscow, Russia. Moved to the United States when he was 7. As the Soviet Union was crumbling, his family came over to the United States. He grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and then in Dublin, Ohio. He's a former offensive coordinator at Tennessee for Josh Heupel. He's 23-15 at South Florida, 14-10 in conference play, 2-0 in bowl games. He's 2-4 against ranked opponents.
Go and read. Somebody had posted it on social media. I guess they did it. I don't know when they did it, but it was a timeline of his family and coming over to the United States, and it was pretty remarkable. It makes you appreciate what his family did and the sacrifices that his parents made. But landing at JFK Airport when he was 7 years old in 1991, his family had $400 to their name. And his dad had a Russian university higher education degree over there that was essentially worthless here in the United States. And his dad and his mom basically working and just trying to provide. But Alex Golesh said that's kind of where he got it. And he's got that work ethic and made it clear that he has no hobbies.
So he does not have a handicap. Is that what you're telling me?
Hugh Freeze continuing to catch strays.
Golesh's deal is for 6 years and an average of $7.4 million annually. His contract is built with heavy incentives, including bonus money for each win after 8. A 12-win season, for instance, could put him up at more than $12 million in compensation. He does not have a bowl bonus. I love one of the quotes I saw from Alex Golesh, basically saying that should be the farthest of our goals is going to a bowl game. So no, I don't need a bowl bonus.
Do you think it was just coincidence? But the names in this cycle, they were Dowdle guys and not, with the exception of Lane Kiffin, it was Jimmy Sexton. But it seemed like everybody that John Cohen talked to was not represented by Jimmy Sexton or CAA.
It's like Scott Boras in Major League Baseball. There's a lot of teams that they just will not deal with a Scott Boras client.
But make no mistake about it, whether Jimmy Sexton or the folks there had a client involved in certain deals, there were strings being pulled.
There's no doubt. According to many multiple outlets, some of the staff members that will be joining Alex Golesh on the plane still don't know about DJ Durkin. I'm sure that will be one of the first questions, probably by someone in the media in about an hour from now, who will be retained from the current staff. Former Auburn wide receiver quarterback Cody Burns is coming back home. He's the South Florida co-offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach. It was being reported that he is coming back to the Plains.
Well, so we can go ahead and maybe kind of address this. Apparently there is a play calling system that Golesh has, but it's not maybe as complicated as what Hugh Freeze had represented. Or
So there's not
was
going to
it-
be
was
three
it Derek
guys
Nix that did it?
There's going to be three guys trying to call the plays.
I don't know exactly how, but apparently it works because the numbers back it up.
Yeah, it's
to
very
what he
impressive.
was able to do at Tennessee and setting records and what he's been able to do at South Florida. But yeah,
According to reports from 247 and On3, USF offensive coordinator Joel Gordon, offensive line coach Tyler Hudenick, cornerbacks coach DeMarcus Van Dyke, and director of football sports performance George Karitis will join the Auburn staff.
yeah, Wesley McGriff. And there's speculation that he could be taking an off-the-field role. It's just interesting that Van Dyke, the guy that's coming in, maybe, presumably, to coach corners, is a guy that he coached.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep. So we'll get all that information as we've got National Signing Day coming up on Wednesday. So all these teams are scrambling to try to get people in place. Needless to say, the big story over the weekend was the Lane Kiffin fiasco that it started right after the game during the Egg Bowl when he goes after an Ole Miss On3 reporter.
Spirit Ben.
Yeah, Spirit Ben. And then the next day, what does Lane do? He calls the guy and apologizes. So he does all this on national TV, makes a big spectacle, and then he calls the guy the next day.
See, I would have done it in reverse order. I would have called the guy or had the conversation in private, not for everybody to watch it across America. But Lane does the opposite. Yeah. He could have handled this so much better, but that wouldn't be Lane.
No, it wouldn't.
You think Lane thinks about others when he makes these decisions, Pat?
No.
But he's so thoughtful when he thinks about his family. He thinks about Landry, but he doesn't think about all the other families that he affects when he makes these decisions.
His son lost to Tupelo the other night in high school football, so I'm sure
You had
he
the
will-
early scout on Tupelo.
I did. So once again, the team that we beat, and again, it's a spring game, air quotes.
Yeah.
We beat them.
On the Smurf turf.
Yep, and now they're playing for the state championship in Mississippi in the highest qualification.
So LSU, is that really who you want leading your? Just kidding. I want to know where is Knox going to go to school?
I'm sure.
Is there a
there's-
recruiting sweepstakes now
I'm sure
in Baton
there's
Rouge?
Plenty of places in Baton Rouge that are lined up for his services for the next 2 years.
University Lab.
Probably.
He should go where Arch went to high school.
So he could put up.
He put up record numbers there.
Was that Newman?
I think so.
That's in
Newman.
New Orleans.
He's Newman.
that
Newman.
old 2A classification there in Louisiana.
Yeah, something like that. All right, we got calls coming in. We're going to get to your calls, and we'll continue on the text line brought to you by Courtesy GMC. We'll have Alex Golish's press conference coming up at noon. This is Three Man Front on Reaction Monday. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll go to Auburn, Alabama, listen to Alex Golish's introductory press conference. I want to tell you about APS. Basement waterproofing is very important. You noticed some storms over the weekend. The professional waterproofers at APS can easily identify the cause of any problem you have in your basement, whether it's musty odors, mold problems. They can even provide you with a high-quality waterproofing solution that can eliminate all of those problems. They offer free estimates in Birmingham, many surrounding areas. So whether it's basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, foundation repair, or concrete repair totally around your house, give them a call, 205-951-9717. That's alabamaprofessional.com.
We'll get back to your phone calls, 800-239-WJOX. Max wants to chime in. Hey, Max, how are you?
Hey, guys. Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday.
Hey, a couple of comments and then a question, please. You had a caller, your daily whiner, that called in earlier, butthurt about Miami not making the playoffs. And he said that the committee is propping up the SEC in not so many words. And I got to refute that. I think the committee is doing everything in their power to keep as many SEC teams out of the playoffs as they can. It just so happened that Miami just couldn't carry the water this year to get in. And another comment about Lane Kiffin is that I'm not an Ole Miss fan and I'm not an LSU fan, but I am now a Lane Kiffin detractor. And the way he's treated those kids, the drama that this narcissistic, egotistical, selfish maniac inflicted on his football team, I think karma's going to come around and bite him on the butt. And my question is regarding the Penn State coaching vacancy, which it's been super, super quiet. But I've got a buddy that works in State College, and he says that DeBoer is still their number one target, and it's all gone quiet there. So what are your comments about that?
Well, I'm looking. They just put up a new hot board, and they have added Kalani Sitake of BYU, Brian Daboll, Bobby Ingram, and Josh Heupel.
There's no Kalen DeBoer on this one?
Removed Clark Lee, Eli Drinkwitz, Pat Fitzgerald, Alex Golish, Kalen DeBoer, and Marcus Freeman. Josh Heupel. We'd heard his name by one of our guests, just kind of passively threw it out when we were talking LSU, and if they didn't land Lane, could potentially Heupel be an option. Interesting.
I will tell you this, that most of my day Saturday, as I was doing the UAB broadcast with Landrum, I was nonstop on the phone in between plays in Tulsa with people trying to track down whether there was any legitimacy whatsoever, because there was a writer, and it's not
Our friend.
It's not Snyder, who was on the show a couple weeks ago. It was not her. But there was someone else, I think it was from the Penn State 247 site, who still maintained that Kalen DeBoer was the guy and is the guy and will be the guy. I reached out to
Audrey Snyder.
Yeah, Audrey Snyder. It was not her. But I reached out to multiple people around the Southeastern Conference and some other people in college football, and they pretty much debunked that. As I've said on this program for a very long time, I know people make fun of me. All coaches are liars. I don't think anybody's asked Kalen DeBoer whether he's interested in the Penn State job or not, because I personally believe he's not. I don't think there's anything to ask him. I think that this is a pipe dream, as Audrey Snyder told us, right? That there was going to be a lot of things that would have to happen, to the point towards someone that I reached out to told me this. This was before the Iron Bowl. This was Saturday afternoon. They told me that even if Auburn were to win the game, there was not a growing sentiment amongst the big boosters at Alabama to get rid of Kalen DeBoer. And I think that's smart on a bunch of different fronts. Mainly, you just saw this coaching cycle where Ryan Silverfield is now in charge of an SEC football program.
Yeah.
No offense to Ryan Silverfield.
But
But those are the names that you're going to like. If you want to kick Kalen DeBoer to the curb, who are you going to bring in?
I was about to say, are you going to feel better that you got Glenn Schumann, the defensive coordinator at Georgia, to come up? You know, like
you going to elevate Kane Womack?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I mean, I'm not taking. I'm just saying that's what you're talking about here.
Absolutely.
It's changed. The game's changed.
Yeah.
Everybody has money at disposal. $10 million seems to be doable for if you've got at least however many years.
For God's
of
sake,
experience.
Eli Drinkwitz is making $10.7 million at
How
Columbia,
many?
Missouri.
Is that 3 extensions that Eli Drinkwitz has gotten now since he's been there? I think it's his 3rd extension.
And he still has not beaten one single team in the Southeastern Conference that finished with 5 wins or more.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, so but again, I was chasing that down in the people that I talked to and I trust. That doesn't mean that something crazy can't happen because it is the coaching carousel. But I'm glad to see at least one reputable Penn State website has removed Kalen DeBoer's name. It just didn't make sense to me on a lot of different fronts with Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, the guy that was crying on the field after beating Auburn on Saturday is trying to leave Tuscaloosa.
Well, even before that, just the fact that, I mean, he takes a job that nobody forced him to take. Like he knew the pressure coming to Tuscaloosa following Nick Saban. Are you kidding me? There have been plenty of people across the country be like, you're crazy. I'll take the job 3, 4, 5 years from now after the next person after Nick Saban. He couldn't have taken that job. I mean, he could have just said, no, thanks. I'll stay here in the
yeah, they
Pacific
probably told him, no, I'll
Northwest."
take the job after you get fired in 3 years.
Absolutely. But he took the job. And then he's going to come down here. Then after 2 years, granted, it probably has not gone as well as maybe some people thought it should have gone. But my goodness gracious, why would you then want to jump out of the frying pan into the fire and go to Happy Valley where you just fired a guy that didn't win big games?
yeah. And I think now these coaches look at it, and maybe it does become more of a short term. We get the 3-year, 4-year, 5-year windows for some of these coaches, and maybe if you're like Lane, you've been somewhere 6 years, and Lane's a different story. But if you're Kalen DeBoer, if with the resources where you have it at Alabama, doesn't strike me as someone who's going to want to go and take over a job where the belief is that you have a path of least resistance. Because to be honest, he had that at Washington in the conference that he played in.
Absolutely.
Now, he made the most of it. He won a lot of games, and he got to a college football playoff and a championship game. But, yeah, I don't see that happening.
But I reached out.
And obviously the people at Penn State that run that site don't see it happening either.
The people that I talked to, and they're as connected as anybody. They did not see that as a possibility, and I really don't see it as a possibility now that he is playing for an SEC championship, and you got signing day on Wednesday.
Ryan Silverfield, the going back to that hire, though, at Arkansas, biggest game that he had was when they came back and they won.
Against Arkansas.
And they beat Arkansas.
Yeah. Just think about the fact that the way that he was trending in Memphis in regards to, just take a look at his win total and what has happened to him in Memphis. And now all of a sudden he's.
What happened to the last Memphis coach to get a Power 4 job?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he still has a job, but I don't know if he wants that job right now.
generational wealth for he and his great-grandchildren?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Mm.
But people are pointing towards Ryan Silverfield. You had more money at your disposal than anybody else in your conference, and you still failed to get it done there at Memphis.
But one thing's for sure, you can say a lot about the American Conference, but my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I mean, Summerall, gone. Morris, gone. Silverfield, gone. Golish, gone.
South Florida didn't waste any time. They hired Kennesaw State's as their new head coach.
I heard John Gruden was up for that job too.
Was he?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We will continue on
It's got
this
a sting.
Reaction Monday. Yeah. He's right down the
Your
road.
backyard.
I know. We will continue. We'll get to your phone calls next on 3 Man Front. It is 11:25. Back to the phones we go at 1-800-239-WJOX. Reminder, we will carry the Alex Golish press conference coming up live at noon.
First up, let's go to our buddy Larry. Hey, Larry.
Hey, guys. I didn't know I was going to get on that quick. I'm very thankful. But 3 questions, guys. Number one question, how did y'all feel about that call in the Auburn game when they went after Ty's knees in that call? Did you feel that was a legitimate call or not, guys? Wondering.
I thought from a technical sense, when I saw it in real time, I didn't think it was. But then after they kept rolling it and based on the rule itself, I thought it was the right call.
It's the right call, Pat said. I thought it was a very curious time to make that call.
I would agree, guys. Number 2, I would have to say, as the year progressed, would y'all not agree that Bama's defense, has gotten much better than it was at the beginning of the year? Would you agree with that?
Yes. Just like they did last year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they really did progress much. But, Auburn, 6 points and then 2 touchdowns in the second half. But one more question, guys. The thing that sticks out to me about Golish, and how many years was he at South Florida? 5, 3? I don't know.
3. He was there 3, yeah.
He done an unbelievable job. That's all. And I think Auburn hit a grand slam, guys. Enjoy the show always. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah. Some other coaching news. UCLA is expected to hire James Madison head coach Bob Chesney. Chesney was one of those names
that was Penn State.
Was potentially at Penn State, but James Madison head coach Bob Chesney is expected to be hired at UCLA. That's coming from multiple media reports.
We'll continue with the phone calls. Joe, welcome in.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing well. Hope you are.
Hey, I really hate to bring up a Big Ten question right after the day after the Iron Bowl, but I'm going to take off my maize and blue glasses here for a minute. Can you tell me if Sharon Moore and Chip Lindsey are the correct people to lead this Michigan? Now, look, I know we're young, whatever, but we got our ass handed to us Saturday, settling for field goals, not touching. I'm just a little frustrated, and I'm just trying to get some words of wisdom. If you think we should be patient with what we have, or do we need to move on from them?
Well, I will just tell you this. In knowing Lindsey's work in the Southeastern Conference, I'm not a fan. Never have been.
Right.
You're paying a lot of money for a really good quarterback. And to me, you're not allowing him, at least in the Michigan games that I've seen, it's almost like you've got some type of guardrails up on him. Like, you got to let this guy throw the ball. I mean, that's why you're paying him, right? You're not paying him to hand the ball off. Throw the ball.
Exactly. And as many, back when Urban Meyer was coaching and Trussell, it was like Ohio State's receivers running the mesh routes or, throwing the ball deep. It was just like, for just one time, can we just throw the damn ball down the field and see what happens? And I'm like, it was like 10U Pee-wee, just hand off left, hand off right, bubble screen. I'm like, what in the hell anyway, I just wanted to get y'all's advice. I think with me personally, I'm going to give one more year and hell, Bryce may plead to LSU to go be with Lane. Who knows? But I was just really frustrated. I thought
you should be.
And Ohio State's a lot of years have had the better talented roster. I get that, but something was missing Saturday. For one, there was so much damn red in that stadium.
There was a lot.
If there's season ticket holders who are selling their tickets, they should be revoked from ever being able to buy another season ticket. Anyway, I'm going to clog it up. I appreciate y'all, and thanks for taking my call.
Hey, thanks, Joe. We appreciate it. You bring your Big Ten questions anytime. You look at Michigan, you say, "Well, they're 9-3," but look at who they beat. Look at the resume there. I venture to say that Nebraska on the road is their best win, a 3-point win in Lincoln.
You better believe it is.
Lost to USC by more than 2 touchdowns. Of course, you lost to Ohio State, and then you lost to Oklahoma by 11 early in the season.
If I'm doing some quick math here, their quarterback has made $333,000 every touchdown he's thrown this year. He's thrown 9 touchdowns.
And listen, I do
9.
not proclaim to. I have watched a handful of Michigan games, but as I've watched the Michigan games, to me, I'm like, what am I missing here with Underwood?
Well, and I think you're starting to see people go back and look at J.J. McCarthy a little differently too and go, maybe they just have a problem with figuring out how to use a quarterback or how to have a good passing game because they haven't had one in a long time. They won a national championship on a defense and a run game, and now we're seeing J.J. McCarthy get smoked in the NFL, and I think a lot of people are raising their eyebrows a little bit.
Michigan 7th in the Big Ten in total offense.
I've never been enamored by Chip Lindsey as an offensive mastermind.
No, I knew Chip when he was I got to know him when he was at Spain Park and enjoyed getting to know him.
I'm not saying anything personal.
No, I know
about
you're
him.
not.
I'm
I know
saying
you're not.
offensively, I mean,
Offensively, had struggles there with Gus. Now, that was a kind of a different deal, but yeah. When I'm thinking about putting up a lot of points these days, that's not the offensive coordinator I think about. Not that it can't happen.
don't remember him.
And how much of that is dictated by Sherrone Moore and what he wants to do?
True, but I don't remember him breaking records at Southern Mississippi or Arizona State, Troy or Central Florida.
Nick Mullins did break records at Southern Miss, but yes, to
I'm
your
talking
point.
about the school. I'm talking about them winning championships and doing things.
Gotcha.
So, all right, we will continue on in this Reaction Monday. Top of the hour, we will hear from Alex Golish at the introductory press conference as he's named the new head coach of the Auburn Tigers. 11:36 here on Jocks. I want to remind everybody, go to abideroofing.com because Abide Roofing is giving one deserving homeowner a brand new roof completely free. This is not a gimmick. This is not a sales pitch. It's their way of saying thank you to the community over the holidays that have trusted Abide with their homes. Here's how it works. You fill out the quick form at abideroof.com. Go to abideroof.com. Look for the green bar at the top of the homepage. You can nominate yourself or someone who deserves it. Then watch for the winning announcement coming up in a couple of weeks. Value is up to a 30-square roof or roughly $13,000. Maybe it's someone who's fallen on hard times during the holidays and can't afford repairs to the roof. It's a single parent, possibly working 2 jobs. Maybe it's a veteran, first responder. Maybe it's a teacher who always is giving back to others. Or maybe it's that neighbor that just volunteers and is the pillar of the community. Whoever it is, Abide Roofing, they want to hear their story. At Abide Roofing, they believe everyone deserves a safe, reliable roof over their head, and this is their way of giving back. Don't wait. Entries are open now. Enter through December 12th. Winner will be announced on December 19th. For complete details and how to enter for the free roofing giveaway, visit abideroof.com.
Coming up, we've got Alex Golis, his introductory press conference we're going to carry from Auburn at noon. Typically, it's Kalen DeBoer on Mondays. We had a couple of listeners that reached out on the text line and asked, why no Kalen DeBoer today? Kalen DeBoer does not have a scheduled press conference today.
No, he spoke last night. Him and Kirby Smart, they were on the SEC championship game presser. The next time you will hear from Kalen DeBoer, you'll have some individual players available for the media the next couple of days. Will be Wednesday because Wednesday is actually National Signing Day. So Kalen DeBoer will have a presser
and hopefully
Wednesday.
You know us well enough by now. If Kalen DeBoer says it, and especially this week, we're going to have it here on Jocks. So you're not going to miss a thing. 800-239-WJOX. Before we get back to the text line, let's go to Robert. He's been patiently waiting. Hey, Robert, how are you?
Hey, how y'all doing today?
We're doing great. You must be happy. Great win, right?
Yes, I am. Well, out better than what the Steelers did last night in the second half. But great win for Alabama. I thought the key to the game was not turning the football over. That was important. I also thought getting the running game established was big. Remember a few weeks ago on one of these shows I said that Ty Simpson needed to be more involved in the running game, and that's what exactly they did. And defensively, I mean, outside giving up those 2 big plays that went for touchdowns, and those need to be corrected. But I thought that they did a really good job. Winning the turnover battle, I thought, was huge. And it also was very minimal number of penalties, and which was something a lot of people complained about with Alabama last year. But let me ask you this, regarding the college football playoff, tomorrow night the rankings are supposed to come out. I was not impressed by what Texas A&M did in the second half against Texas. They only have 1 ranked win that I know of, and that's against Notre Dame. Alabama has 3. I am hoping they'll keep Tennessee in the rankings this week. But I just wanted to ask you, do you think that Alabama will be ahead of Texas A&M? And also, do you think that everything is based on what happens not only in Atlanta Saturday, but in Dallas Saturday with Texas Tech and BYU in the Big 12 championship game?
Well, listen,
Robert, thank you.
Robert, I do not believe that Alabama will be ahead of Texas A&M. That's just not going to happen in regards to tomorrow night's rankings. If Alabama wins the SEC championship, then yes, they will be ahead of Texas A&M. But in regards to Dallas, that is a concern. We touched on it last week, Conrad, in regards to the potential of BYU upsetting Texas Tech. And if they do that, then the Big 12 is getting 2 teams in the college football playoff.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, right? In that scenario, BYU upsets Texas Tech, even though I know a lot of people go, well, Texas Tech clobbered them the first time. And they absolutely did. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And in that scenario, personally, I think Texas Tech has earned a spot in the college football playoff,
yes,
even if they lose the Big 12 championship. In that scenario, personally, I think Notre Dame should be the last team out and Alabama should still get in because we've laid out. You can say what you want of, well, I think this team's better, that team's better. As it stands right now, Alabama is the best team and the best conference in college football. They are the hosting team in the conference title game. I find it hard to believe that they would be left out. But yes, if you are an Alabama fan, you want BYU to lose to Texas Tech, that should clear up all of the concerns that you have. You just don't want to leave it in the committee's hands because we've seen, especially the final week of rankings, they've have a tendency in the past to sometimes go back and flip-flop on things they've said in previous weeks of rankings. So, but tomorrow, maybe Alabama does get that bump ahead of Notre Dame as a reward for finishing the regular season and making the SEC title game. We will just have to wait and see. But if that does happen, clearly then Alabama in a good spot no matter what on Saturday.
We will continue on this Reaction Monday. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll go to Auburn, Alabama, as Alex Golesh is introduced as the next head coach of Auburn. This is Reaction Monday on Jocks. .44 here on Jocks as we get ready for the Alex Golesh press conference coming up at the top of the hour. No Kalen DeBoer today. Kalen DeBoer and Kirby Smart met with the media last night for the SEC championship game. Some individual Alabama players will be meeting with the media today. We'll hear again from Kalen DeBoer on Wednesday. It is National Signing Day as Alabama is trying to close in a top 5 recruiting class. So we'll hear from him on Wednesday. It is interesting to note, it's very difficult to beat somebody twice in a year.
Yeah.
It's always difficult to do, no matter what sport it is. But Kalen DeBoer has done it before. He did it to Dan Lanning when he was at Washington. And Lanning, of course, was at Oregon. He did it twice. So we'll see if he has the magic again.
Is he in Kirby's head?
Like Nick was. And
yeah. Has he taken up residence?
Speaking of Nick, I do want to say this. I thought ESPN's the Lane Kiffin situation, pandering by Nick Saban and Booger McFarland and Kirk Herbstreit. You don't have to go very far to figure things out, folks, and we have a very smart audience. Nick Saban is represented by Jimmy Sexton. Booger McFarland is AA, who runs Jimmy Sexton. CAA are on national television. This is wrong for not letting Lane Kiffin. Are you kidding? It amazes me that always wanted to be what they started. Could you imagine and saying, hey, come more NIL, or I want to or and Nick.
I was about to say, did Nick Saban not have an opportunity to let Lane Kiffin coach in a national championship
He did,
game
and he
on his
fired him.
staff?
As he says, he fired his ass.
Lane Kiffin has had 3 weeks to waste time and burn time that Ole Miss folks are never going to get back.
But what?
Don't give him another month to do it for a variety of reasons. But number one, I just say out of principle, I don't like the way that you treated us. I don't like the way that you're leaving, and I certainly don't like the school that you're going to.
But what world are these people living in? You got Booger McFarland sitting up there, who's an LSU graduate, who is saying, hey, Ole Miss, come on, you got to do the right thing. You got to let him coach. Come on.
Look,
Well, of course he wants them to be able to poach players from Ole Miss to take them to LSU.
Well, I can appreciate the reports coming out of the team meeting that certain players started turning on Lane Kiffin.
They were pretty fired up when they announced that Pete Golding, not only was he the next head coach,
by the way,
in regards to the playoff, but long term.
Congratulations,
Let me
Pete.
say this about Pete Golding. His look, perfect for Ole Miss.
Would fit in as a legacy of any fraternity on that campus.
You take a
I'd buy it.
headset off of Pete Golding with that hair flopping out from underneath that hat. You put him in a Ole Miss polo, some slacks and some slip-on loafers like Hastings wears.
Oxford Trust Fund baby written all over.
Oh. Who's your daddy and who's your granddaddy?
But I just could not believe, like, just the pandering by Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And then Booger McFarland. And then Kirk Herbstreit. I'm just like going, do you guys not realize that people have Google? Do people not understand that all these people are intertwined with each other? You think that they're going to say one negative thing about a Jimmy Sexton client?
Well, they're not, but I cannot wait. Get your popcorn for the stories that start coming out of Oxford that have been kept under wraps, that have been closely guarded, locked in a vault somewhere.
Social media has been very interesting.
Because those, if you some way find a way, and there's goodwill when you leave, and there was going to be bad will regardless of how he left, but not this much bad will and how it played out. Because this was right on brand for Lane Kiffin and everything we thought. And if you thought he had matured, does this show Lane's maturity or lack thereof?
I will also, this is just like general life advice, I think. If you're a 50-year-old adult, do not have Snapchat on your phone. I'm just going to throw that out there. You should not, there's no reason that you should have that app on your phone.
And I'm sorry, I should know her name because Conrad and I, we make jokes. She went to Alabama. You know, the ring.
The one that got famous last year, Sydney Thomas?
Yeah, Sydney Thomas.
Oh,
yeah. It's interesting because she was a St. Louis Cardinal ball girl before she came to go to school in Tuscaloosa. And then she obviously
She went viral and all that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, she apparently did a reality show about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And the reality show, one of the questions was the most famous person that's ever slid into your DMs? Said it was Lane Kiffin.
Shocker. Well, I think she said that he just messaged her like "Roll Tide."
Well,
so
and like at first she didn't even know who it was. I think someone like had to tell her, "Hey, you know that's the head coach at Ole Miss."
Well, there might have been something eerily similar that happened at SEC Media Days that we heard about.
Yeah, we heard some things. We were in SEC
from
Media
this past year.
Yeah,
about an interaction and maybe reaching out once again to somebody else through their DMs.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting, but it just got on my nerves. I mean, okay, you say it once, but then just the ongoing preaching, like really?
You think Marty Smith enjoyed that assignment? Because I know everybody had
God,
fun and
no.
it blew up virally, but I think at some point he liked the idea initially, and then he was like, "This is ridiculous."
The best part was on, I guess it was after the Iron Bowl when they had him do a live hit, and he was standing there like, I literally just texted Lane Kiffin, will we get an answer tonight? Please, God, say yes. Because you could tell he was just tired of it.
Now, I was also told that Lane Kiffin's university cell phone was turned off Saturday.
Oh.
I was told that from a very reliable source.
Hope he scrubbed it.
He
Now,
also already had his Twitter account. Like, they had like an official Ole Miss badge or
It's been
whatever on
removed,
there.
yeah.
They took that thing down quick.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I'm asking this question: where's Juice?
I was told that Juice is not owned by Lane Kiffin.
Really?
That's what I was told.
What?
That's what I was told.
That's the biggest story out of all this. A fake dog?
They gave him a dog. This is like, what's the movie where the guy's running for office and they're like, we're changing everything, and they go and
Oh, yeah, and they give him the golden the campaign.
yeah, they take all the fancy paintings and all the artwork and kids' drawings and stuff and replace it with a big deer head and a gun, and they give him the
No,
dog.
that's what I was told. And that might be just some Ole Miss.
I love it because I don't want Juice to leave.
But according to his contract, he's going to make $13 million annually. Still has not won nothing as a head coach. He's owed 80% of the remaining salary if he's fired without cause. So you had the governor stand up there and yell and scream and talk about how poor the state of Louisiana is, and they would not be able to afford to pay Brian Kelly, who they're now going to pay the full amount of $54 million. Well, now, if you get rid of Lane Kiffin without cause, you're paying him $73 million, and it's all guaranteed, every single dime. So for a university that was crying, we need to be on food stamps because we can't pay Brian Kelly, and we're going to put this contract forth, this new coach. It's going to have all these incentives because these agents are just ruining the game. So what do? They consummate a deal with Jimmy Sexton. So once again.
Well, and reportedly, you had the owner of Raising Cane's, Todd Graves. That is the one that was responsible for paying Brian Kelly's. That was a rumor.
Okay.
Brian Kelly's buyout.
But here's the best part of Lane Kiffin's contract. LSU is going to pay him any performance bonuses based on Ole Miss and what they've done in the college football playoffs. So if Ole Miss wins the national championship, Lane Kiffin will be paid $1 million by LSU.
Well, and I made light of it because it is weird. It's interesting. It's kind of a new one. But if you're LSU, maybe look at it this way. We enticed you. You chose us. You feel like you're being penalized. So you know what? We're going to honor that. They're not. We helped create this, though I think Lane created this. But okay.
I love the fact that Ole
What's
Miss,
another million, Pat?
I mean, if you don't have the money, just, continue to roll up debt, I guess.
But his resume will continue to show that he has not yet coached in a college football playoff game.
It's interesting because
As a head coach.
we're hours away from Pete Golding to have more college football playoff games under his belt as a head coach than Lane Kiffin. Go figure.
That's
Life is great. More three-man front. We'll go to Auburn coming up next.